Member for Lindsay.
Thank you, Madam Deputy
I'm on
Speaker.
duty.
It's wonderful to see you here again today in the Federation Chamber.
How's it going?
In
Good,
2007,
thanks,
when
yourself?
the Coalition left office, they left behind $50 billion of gross national savings in the bank. Today, we see the wreckage of this previous Labor government as far as the eye can see, and in only just 6 years. In 6 years. In 6 years, the legacy that this Labor Party has left Australia was 200,000 more unemployed, gross debt projected to rise to $667 billion, $123 billion in cumulative deficits, and the world's biggest carbon tax. Madam Deputy Speaker, Labor have left the Australian people with a national debt costing $1 billion a month in interest payments alone. I think of this in just 1 month alone, we could expand Mulgo Road from Glenmore Park through to the council chambers to 6 lanes and still have the best part of $300,000 left over. Could you imagine, for all the mums and dads on our local infrastructure, that could do so much if we could decongest our local roads? Under the Labor Party, the jobless queues grew by 200,000. That is greater than the entire population of Penrith. The Australian public has spoken, so have the people of Lindsay, the electorate that I represent, and they demand a government to get the budget under control, to repeal the carbon tax, something the Labor Party is still yet to actually admit that needs to happen, and to build the roads and the infrastructure for the 21st century. Madam Deputy Speaker, the Abbott government is well on its way of achieving this objective. For the most part, the people I represent understand tough decisions must be made. Indeed, during the election, I door-knocked on more than 30,000 houses, and overwhelmingly, the hard-working families want to see a government that is fiscally responsible. They want to see a government who will get the budget back under control, a government that will stop the waste and start investing in the infrastructure and the services that our community really needs. And I am pleased to note that it is this budget, and I would like to congratulate the Treasurer on delivering his responsible economic action plan. Because of it this week and following the budget, I actually travelled right across my electorate. My team and I visited every single train station every morning to talk to local commuters. We went to the markets, we went to festivals. We pounded the pavement. We made sure we listened to as many people in the community we possibly could before coming back to Parliament for this sitting block. I wanted the community, the residents of Lindsay, to have an opportunity to speak directly and to talk about their concerns, all the things that they were really excited about. Madam Deputy Speaker, what makes me most proud is, as a member for Western Sydney, and I look at the great legacy as being a member for Western Sydney actually brings. Some say our nation was built on a sheep's back. Well, the seat of Macarthur is in fact to my south, where John Macarthur first had his sheep. The early colony also had the 5 Macquarie towns. We were an agricultural region. We grew through that. As a member for Western Sydney, we have a lot of manufacturing. We've grown through that as a nation. But now we're looking for the next generation. We've just come through the mining boom. Now we're looking at where are we going to invest further. And Western Sydney is the 3rd largest economy in our country. And I am so proud to be part of a government that believes in the people of Western Sydney, a government that is going to invest in the people of Western Sydney, a government that, together with our state colleagues, is going to invest $3.5 billion over 10 years in major road projects and infrastructure projects across Western Sydney. This will ease congestion, it will slash travel times, and it will create thousands and thousands of local jobs. Madam Deputy Speaker, I have spoken regularly about the challenges of my community that face commuting every single day for work. 2/3, in fact, of my community have to commute every single day. 1/3 all the way to the city and 1/3 into Greater Western Sydney. We need local jobs and we need it now, and we finally have a government that's prepared to take the heavy lifting and make it happen. This investment will also include an additional $1.5 billion plus concessional loan of up to $2 billion to build the West Connex motorway, linking Western and southwestern Sydney with the city, Sydney Airport and Port precincts, and a further $2 billion in concessional loans to get this project delivered faster. $2.9 billion from the federal government for the Western Sydney Infrastructure Plan, which will feature $35 million for road extension in Jane Street in my electorate. $2.4 million of planning for Stage 1 Warrington Arterial between the M4 and the Great Western Highway at Claremont Meadows. The upgrade of the Northern Road to a minimum of 4 lanes from Narellan to the M4. Upgrade of Bringelly Road to a minimum of 4 lanes from Camden Valley Way to the Northern Road. And I might add that the contracts are already out into tender, and these projects for Bringelly Road will start within the next few months. We'll be improving interchanges that connect the Northern Road and the new motorway with arterial roads, and a $200 million local roads package that will go to decongest local roads. This is overwhelmingly positive news and fabulous news for Western Sydney. Last night I was with the Prime Minister and at Rudy Hill RSL with many community leaders. Western Sydney is excited. Western Sydney is ready to go, and it's great to see my area so pumped and charged for what the future will bring. I'd really like to impress upon the House the value we are going to be getting from this investment. It will make a genuine difference in the lives of the people that I represent. But also, speaking of value, I want to highlight the cost, $1.5 billion to build West Connex. That is a month and a half of the current interest payments that we are paying back on Labor's debt. Imagine, Madam Deputy Speaker, how we could better spend the interest payments we are currently making. Think of the roads we could build, think of the ports, think of all of the other infrastructure and health precincts that we could work towards. Madam Deputy Speaker, my electorate has also been chosen for Work for the Dole as one of the first starting points. Last week, the Assistant Minister for Employment, the member for Cowper, announced the Nepean region would be one of 18 areas to benefit from the Abbott government's new Work for the Dole arrangements for young job seekers. 18 to 30-year-olds in the Nepean Valley who have been unemployed for 12 months or more and receiving New Start or Youth Allowance will be required to work for the dole. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, Work for the Dole has in fact been very successful in Lindsay over the years. Many people who enjoy the river run would actually know by doing the river run that you actually see on the western bank of the Nepean River a sign from when the Howard government actually built the running track on that western path. This is a community asset that our community love and use. We walk our dogs there, we take our families there. We're able to showcase our beautiful Nepean River. The Work for the Dole program under the Howard government also worked on bank regeneration of the Tench Reserve site. This had massive replanting programs, and in fact it saved the Tench Reserve site from the banks collapsing through erosion. These are the sort of projects that once again we will see in our local area. In fact, the work done on this river precinct has been so helpful to the community that now the state government are having to build a $20 million green bridge to finish the whole lap to provide another crossing across the Nepean River. As the Treasurer said on budget night, and I quote, "We will to build a workforce for the future. Those who can work should work. The benefit of work goes far beyond your weekly pay packet. Work gives people a sense of self, and work helps build a sense of community." And that is exactly what we have seen under the Work for the Dole program previously in the Lindsay electorate. This has been welcomed by the community in Lindsay. Work for the Dole is an important part of the government's plan to help young job seekers gain the skills and experience they need to move from welfare to work and make a positive contribution to our local community. It keeps job seekers engaged and active and helps avoid a lifetime of welfare dependency. Indeed, I recall under the previous programs so many of these wonderful initiatives. I would also like to draw your attention today, Madam Deputy Speaker, that Lindsay is in fact the fourth youngest electorate. We have just a median age of 34. When we look across our region, sporting and supporting our kids in our community is absolutely crucial. I am proud to see that once again we're supporting our kids, providing them a future, giving them sport to play, giving them interaction, and once again building the bedrock of our community. We'll be seeing, under the Hunter Fields at Emu Plains, lighting upgrades of $20,000. Jamison Park will see $90,000 upgrades to shade cloths and canteens. Andromeda Oval Cranebrook will be an upgrade of $25,500. Grey Gums Reserve will have an upgrade of turf, $60,000. Andrews Road Baseball Complex at Cranebrook will have a safety fence of $26,000. Hickeys Park Playing Surface, $45,000. And one of my proudest announcements is $12 million of the Western Sydney Community Sports Centre. I like to think of this facility, Madam Deputy Speaker, as a bit of a Western Sydney Institute of Sport. In essence, it'll be an indoor rugby league field on a timber-sprung floor. At this point in time, once it's constructed, it would be the second biggest exhibition space in New South Wales, but once Darling Harbour comes online, it will be the third. So Darling Harbour, Homebush, and then the Western Sydney Community Sports Centre. It already has mass of support right across our community, from the Panthers teams through UWS, to the Scouts, to the PCYC. This will be an amazing facility. We have the disability sports getting online and all the other sports across our region that will actually get involved with this amazing project. I think once again it shows vision, it shows future, it shows believing in the people of Western Sydney, which is, as I stated earlier, the third biggest economy in our country. Once again, being a young community, the paid parental leave scheme will be an amazing initiative for my electorate. You imagine being a mum, commuting every single day for work. Friends of mine, constituents of mine that I've had to see put babies into daycare or leave them with parents or grandparents at 3 months old. Having a fair paid parental leave scheme that supports women getting back into the workforce is so crucial. Could you imagine commuting 45 minutes, an hour and a half every single day away from your young infant children? It is a choice that so many women in my electorate have to make every day, and it's not fair that families have to see this. We are also investing in the safe and security of our regions. We'll be seeing $300,000 worth of CCTV coming into my electorate of Lindsay, $200,000 into the main streets of Penrith on High Street and Station Street, and another $100,000 into Queen Street, St Mary's. Once again, making our shopping districts safe, making it good for families. This is what this budget's about. This budget is about building the regions for the future of Australia. It's about building where the next sheep's back's going to be, where the next mining boom's going to be, where the next manufacturing industry is going to be, and you know what? It's going to be in Western Sydney. I can say that categorically with my own bias of Western Sydney, but I'm so proud of this budget. I'm so proud that we finally have a Prime Minister and a Treasurer that believes in the value of Western Sydney. They're not just there milking it. They're not putting out a Lindsay test. They're not just saying, oh, Lindsay, let's test Lindsay. They're actually putting their money where their mouth is, and that's why this budget is good. This is a budget that's getting the budget under control, but investing in our country and the economic sustainability for the future. Thank you.
The question is that the